Hey!
Hi!
This is Geek Bomb. My name is Maude Garrett. I am Chief Bomb of Geek Bomb. This year is Alicia Malone.
Hello, everyone.
Couldn't find the event link. It was hidden.
It was.
Had a mild panic attack. But thank you so much for patiently waiting for us to jump online to talk all things Comic-Con 2014.
We're shattered.
We're exhausted.
I'm so tired. We both had cold, and it was a lot of work and a lot of craziness, but it's always a lot of fun. We just got back. We both drove back today, and I tried to have a nap. It didn't work. You had a little nap.
I did. I had a kip.
I just want to sleep for a week.
Yeah, but we have been asking you at Geek Bombshells. If you haven't liked that one, give it a bit of a like and tweet in your messages and comments and questions there, because we've got a feed where all your beautiful questions come up. And I did try and write some notes for this because
nice.
I gave it a go. What we're going to do is talk about our experience, what we did. I was working for the Hot Hits. Alicia, you were working for Fandango.
Fandango in the US, covering all film stuff.
So we were on the press lines mainly. I got to walk the floor just a little bit, but we kind of managed to do things outside of Comic-Con, but it's mainly just about the celebrity interviews that we had and what we discovered. But we did try and get our head around some of the trailers.
Yes. Yeah. The annoying thing about covering the press lines at Comic-Con is that you cannot see what is happening in Hall H. So we're stuck inside this room. It's just a really boring convention room inside a hotel, waiting, red carpet style, mainly packed like this, waiting for stars to come out of the panel, and it might be running late, like Avengers was last night. Yeah. To come and talk to us, and we have to rely on Twitter. And sometimes the stars come to us before they go to the panel as well, so it's not like you can say, how did the panel go? They say, we haven't done it yet. So it's a lot of guessing, and now that we've finished, now it's a lot of catching up on the footage. So I did just watch Mad Max Fury Road, the trailer for that, which is now online. It's on YouTube. It was shown at Comic-Con, and this film looks incredible. I mean, it wasn't really on my radar because it's been pushed back so many times. I thought, do we need another Mad Max? I think it's kind of a prequel or a separate story. It happens before. Tom Hardy plays the role that Mel Gibson made famous.
Yeah, but Tom Hardy's a barb.
He is a babe, and Charlize Theron is a babe too, and she looks amazing with a shaved head and all dirty and everything. Anyway, you just have to watch the trailer. The special effects are just jaw-dropping. You still don't know exactly what's going on, who's who, who's the good guys, who the bad guys are, what's happening, but it just looks amazing. So that, for me, was the highlight of Comic-Con in terms of what they showed. I also want to see Interstellar. So Interstellar, there was a big surprise. For film, this was the most exciting thing because Christopher Nolan, even though he is kind of the god of Comic-Con because he's the one who really turned around the comic book genre for movies. He made the Dark Knight trilogy. He made the serious things, and he showed people like me who don't read comic books how great those characters are and how layered those characters are. Yeah,
and really professional actors who like to put on lots of weight and lose lots of weight to really get into the role are able to talk like this and get away with it when he gets really serious. Yeah, so that's a feat in itself.
Complex story. Anyway, he has never come to Comic-Con before, and no one knew that he was coming this year, but he made a surprise appearance with Matthew McConaughey. All right. And they were there to talk about Interstellar, which is his sci-fi movie, which is coming out in November. It's my most anticipated film of the year. I am positive it's going to be my favorite film of the year. And they showed a brand new trailer, which does explain a little bit more of the plot. It still seems very confusing.
That's the thing. They've been leaking just only little bits. The first thing we ever saw was just a poster. And you're like, Nolan?
Yeah.
And then you're like, Interstellar. Wow, that's kind of space. What else? And then they showed this clip. Remember last year we saw it and you were just like, you didn't breathe throughout the entire thing. And it looked like, not found footage, but it was on film. It was kind of like Super 8, what J.J. Abrams did with that.
A lot of newsreel type footage. At the press conference, Nolan spoke about the panel. Nolan spoke about how 2001 Space Odyssey, which is one of my favorite films, how that was a huge influence.
Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah, good work, Marty. I will show you that film. It's really, really good. You know all about it, though, just from pop culture. It is so famous, and he said that was a major inspiration, and Blade Runner as well, but he didn't want to list too many of his inspirations because he doesn't want people to go, hey, you copied this from this and this and that. Anyway, that was a huge highlight. But I felt overall, I don't know if you agree, Maude, that a lot of the film press conferences, the panels, weren't that exciting.
Okay, so since Comic-Con went more mainstream, about 7 years ago, this is where we've expected this huge rise of the comic book movies. So Comic-Con is the forefront where these big announcements are made.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel, DC, they've been talking kind of shit against each other the whole time. Yeah, Lucasfilms as well. This is where they're supposed to be making these huge announcements. It's a freaking E3 for video games is what we have at Comic-Con. It's the movie news, and I feel like it fell a little flat.
Yeah.
We got a little look at some
Wonder
of this,
Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman and Ben Affleck with his bum for a chin.
And a bit of footage which I saw some sneaky person had recorded inside Hall H and put on YouTube, and they have glowing eyes. Superman and Batman, glowing eyes at each other. I mean, that looks cool. A lot of people are asking us what we thought of Wonder Woman.
Yes. Hold on, let's read out a few of these ones. Outlaw Noah. Hey, Noah Outlaw.
Hi, Noah.
Buddy. He wants to know. Nathan Fields also asking. Pfeiffer goes home.
File.
Just want to read out a few of these. We've got all these questions coming in.
Yeah, so a lot of people saying, JT Shadow, John, thoughts on Wonder Woman costume. So, well, we'll start with the good. The good, she does look fierce.
She's supposed to be an Amazon.
Yeah,
she looks tall and long.
Yeah, and she looks beefier than normal. And a lot of people who were inside Hall H said that it's obvious that she has put on muscle and weight for the role, because that was a major concern. She looked like a model and not really a fierce fighter, but so she does look like she's beefed up. I do understand they have to go with a darker tone because it's got to fit in.
Stripped all the colour out of the costume.
It's such a shame, though. It feels like you want to see the iconic blue and gold and red come out, but I understand they couldn't do it. Maybe I will hope for more muted tone.
They had done the same with Superman's outfit. Like Man of Steel, again, it was like, it wasn't a bright blue.
But still
it was
blue
a
and
navy blue.
Red,
Yeah, it was dulled down a little bit. This time, Gal Gadot looks like Xena's daughter.
Yeah, she does look like Xena, Warrior Princess, and a lot of people rightly pointing out the heels.
Yeah.
Like, come on, do women always have to wear heels? Because it's really uncomfortable.
She's never worn
really hard to run.
She wears boots. I mean, I think Linda, which other
Carter?
Linda Carter. I'm going Linda Hamilton. She would never wear heels. Linda Carter, I think she wore a thick heeled boot.
Yeah,
that was
it looks
series,
like
which was supposed to be a little bit more campy. She used to turn around
with heels, but
the only problem is, like, the rest of the armor, it looks like, you know, binded, and like Warbler fans who do cosplay are gonna have a field day with this. But it's like strips of bronze metal, like, going over her armor, like plate armor in a way. Which looks a lot like Xena's leather work outfit.
Yeah.
I've seen photoshops already where they've photoshopped Xena in it, and it looks the same.
And I've seen photoshops where they've just added a tiny bit of colour, and I'm like, that's cool. I also don't understand with that costume, why is she so exposed? Like, if she's going to be in danger, cover up those thighs.
I know, you look at...
you might get scratched or something.
Yeah, Superman flies and he's fast and he can, like, you know, blast you with his eyeballs before you even come close. And then you've got Batman, who knows that he technically has no superpowers, so he's gadgeted up.
And he's covered up completely.
He's completely covered up, and he's looking like he's ready for the job. Sato did ask, are we surprised at the weird backlash over Wonder Woman? You know, the size of her heels, etc. Am I surprised?
No.
She was going to get eaten alive. There was backlash when Gal Gadot was announced. There was backlash.
I feel a lot of pressure for her.
There was backlash when Wonder Woman alone was announced in this. And I kind of feel the same. I have been very vocal about the fact that this was supposed to be Superman's sequel. You know, we had Man of Steel. They announced a Superman sequel. Then they made it Superman and Batman. And now they're putting in all these Justice League characters.
And now they say they will have a Superman sequel down the track. But it feels like that's too late. And you want Wonder Woman to be introduced properly.
I know.
You want Wonder Woman to have a chance, because if she is a weak link, that affects a lot of things in terms of women in film and female superheroes on the big screen.
Agree.
There's so much pressure on this character to do well, because if not, people will point to
Well, we tried. Well, we did it.
Well,
Studios
look
will
at
be
her.
like,
She didn't work.
failed.
So let's just
Not
bail
our
out
problem.
now. Yeah.
People just don't like, you know, women in film, which is Bullshit.
Yeah.
Someone else wondering. I think we answered. Sound like 1987 Sahil. We asked Sahil C. Sorry.
Yeah.
Compared to last year's news,
should have they made like bigger announcements? So last year was the time when they said we are going to have Batman versus Superman. Coal mines were blown everywhere. This time, even with Marvel, I don't think they made any big announcements.
No.
They had a few announcements of casting in Ant-Man, but nothing crazy. It was Evangeline Lilly playing Michael Douglas's daughter, Corey Stoll playing the bad guy, Yellow Jacket, and then Avengers, they announced Josh Brolin as Thanos as part of that. But I thought everyone knew that already.
Yeah,
I even that morning said to him, can't wait to see you as Thanos.
Yeah.
And he just gave me a little smile, but that was officially announced. I wanted to hear who's playing Doctor Strange.
Didn't Thanos, maybe because it hasn't technically come out Guardians of the Galaxy, but we've seen Guardians of the Galaxy and Thanos is in there, and you can.
But it's not him.
That's not him?
No.
Right.
That's someone else.
It's a very CGI'd kind of
character.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a head.
Yeah. But he's going to do motion capture for the role, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't hire a great actor like Brolin. So hopefully we'll see more of him. But yeah, I want a Doctor Strange announcement or
apparently
something.
It's Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, well, they're saying Joaquin Phoenix or Benedict Cumberbatch. And
Benedict was
here.
Scott
DC had nothing major. We were hearing all those news leading up to it that was online about the slate of DC movies, and they said there's going to be a Shazam movie, there's going to be this character, Aquaman, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that all may still happen, but there was no official announcement about that, so we don't know. There was that Marvel thing that was going around online.
The fake image that I got sucked into, and I was like, which is like, you know, there was a Hulk movie, it was like a Civil War movie, there was all of these things with all these release dates. But in my defense, the release date for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has been announced, and that was on the picture, and the date was correct.
And I think everybody, including me, was kind of hoping for something to do with Star Wars. Just maybe a title announcement or something. I know they'll probably save it for D23 because it's a Disney thing.
Yeah.
Or for the fan convention that happens next year. But I know it's early, but even just like a message from JJ or something, I think would have made people so excited.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like E3, especially with the press conferences, you just don't need to be there anymore. It's accessed online. You can access it online, but also there's so many announcements leading up to it. Like, we have heard more in the last 3 months about all of these Marvel and DC announcements and rumors, etc., than we have at Comic-Con, which is supposed to be the place where the news drops.
Yeah.
So for some reason, it's just like, hey, come to Comic-Con, you can walk the floor and buy a poster.
Yeah, I know. There's not much incentive for people lining up in Hall H, although I was pleased to hear that the Avengers footage, they showed a little bit of a scene, and apparently there was this standing ovation, and the roof lifted off, and everyone was excited. In terms of us for celebrities as well, I felt like it was a little bit light. There wasn't any surprise people coming down the line that we didn't know about. Not even something like Hunger Games. They did show a trailer there, but they didn't have the stars doing press like they usually do. The Hobbit was nice to talk to the people about it being their last Hobbit, unless Peter Jackson decides on
a fourth
movie somehow.
That was a chapter that I read somewhere that Tolkien did. Let's do 5 movies from it.
That's what I said to Orlando Bloom. I was like, do you really believe this time? Before you say goodbye to your character, now you're saying goodbye again. Yeah. Do you believe really that this is it, or do you think there might be something more? But yeah, what was your highlight, would you say?
Oh, we have been asked that question. I think we're going to pay respect to who's asking these questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go through all these questions.
Because I saw someone asking about Nathan Fillion, and that was a highlight last year where we got to dance with Nathan Fillion.
Didn't happen
and
this
Tom
year,
Hiddleston and Kit Harington and Joss Whedon, and it was just nerd heaven. It was amazing. Yeah, a lot of people asking who won the battle, Marvel or DC. Juan Campbell says Marvel. Marvel still has. Even though they didn't give
here's
much.
my take on Marvel versus DC. Marvel has kicked absolute ass with movies. They've released them sooner. They're doing better ones. They not only had, Iron Man, and that was great, and they made Robert Downey Jr. just a god, but they set up, the Thor individual, we've seen Hulk, but we don't talk about that at all. But, we've seen all these videos, Captain America, et cetera, and then they assembled and they became the Avengers, and then that's going to be like almost a trilogy. So we're seeing 3 of those, and then all the separate ones, and then we, there's rumors of Black Widow doing more. So they've done such a great job with the movies, and not only that's just the Avengers. That's not including X-Men. Or, shit, what else are there? There's so many other Marvel movies. Guardians of the Galaxy, which is seriously one of the best movies I've seen this year. But, these movies are really clever. They're good. Winter Soldier was not a disappointment. I loved it.
Yeah.
X-Men Days of Future Past, I absolutely loved it. So Marvel are bringing out great movies where you finish them and you're like, I know that there's a movie in 18 months' time after this. I can't wait. Whereas DC is like, hey, look at us. Hi.
Yeah, don't forget about us.
I'm DC.
And I do understand they want to do it differently to Marvel. Marvel did plan everything really carefully, so they started with the origin stories and then brought them together, like you said. They can't do the same thing with DC, but for me personally, that's what I love, is seeing an origin story.
Where
I
you
find
start
that
from.
really
root
fascinating.
From the beginning. Who is this person?
Just to understand them. So now they're kind of doing it backwards. Like, here's everyone, and now we will explain them, and they'll all get their own movie.
Yeah. We've seen that
work,
with
hopefully?
Batman. I mean, but we've got a new Batman now. We haven't seen the Ben Affleck Batman. We've seen the, and those
Now
2 movies, the trilogy was great. So DC, let's not shit on them completely. DC did do a great job with those movies.
We have hope for them. Hopefully they've learned the lessons of Green Lantern, which made me hate that character, and I'm sure it's a great character.
Way to end the conversation. I
Just
want to cry now.
Well, anyway, Noah Outlaw says, what was the highlight of Comic-Con in your opinion? So personally, Maude, what was your favourite?
Oh, this is going to be the weirdest one. I loved chatting to Freddie Prinze Jr. for Star Wars Rebels, believe it or not. I had a 4-minute interview with him one-on-one, and we weren't even supposed to get him at all. Obviously, he's going to be playing one of the Jedi Masters in Star Wars Rebels. They have cancelled Clone Wars, which I'm really just getting into now. So I was excited to see what they're doing with this one. I also love Freddie for doing James Vega, Lieutenant James Vega in Mass Effect 2, which he actually
geeked out about, right?
Profusely apologised for the ending of 3. But he's also doing Iron Bull for Dragon Age Inquisition. So, my first question was going to be, you're scoring up your geek point creds. You've done Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and now you're going to do Star Wars. And he's like, okay, so I did Mass Effect 2, right? And it was boom, started. And he just spoke about games. He's such a geek. He's obsessed with games. But he just went on this roll where honestly, I think I got a few questions at the beginning. By my 4-minute mark, when I was getting the wrap-up, I was like, I haven't even spoken about Star Wars yet, which is why I'm here. I asked one question, and I stood there for 5 minutes solid while he spoke. And I'm smiling and nodding and smiling and nodding. So I can't wait for people to hear that interview. And he was great. At one stage, I don't even know how it came up, but he's like, Blizzard does a really great job. Blizzard gets the games out. They're like, you know what? You want the game? Well, fuck you. It's not ready. That's what it's like. It's like, and then he went on this rampage about combat fighting with Mayweather, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. And it's like Picasso. Picasso's like, my painting's not ready yet. If you don't like that, fuck you. And he kept doing this, and the publicist is like,
what's happening?
Oh my god. And I'm like, So
keep going.
Yeah, I really enjoyed geeking out with Freddie Prinze Jr. What about you?
Well, I had a similar experience with Kevin Smith, who is one of my favorite directors. Obviously, he's a renegade director. Made Clerks for no money, did really well, then got suckered into the studio system, and freely admits that with a bigger budget meant less creativity from him.
Yeah, is he a little bit bitter now?
He's not actually. I feel like he's in a really good place. He was for a while there, and that was when after Red State, he was like, screw this, I am retiring from filmmaking. I've had enough of this. It's screwed the way things are going, and I hate critics, and I hate bloggers, and I hate everyone studios.
He's quite active on forums though.
Yeah, but he turned it around. He had his podcast and he does really well with that. And now he was at Comic-Con to promote a film called Tusk, which you will not want to see. It'll pop your safety bubble completely. It is a horror film. And it's
doing horror.
Yeah, it's him doing horror. It's a story that came out of his podcast, but not real. So the story in this podcast was about someone applying for a place to live, and the guy said, I was on Craigslist or something, and the guy said, you can live with me as long as you dress up as a walrus. He was just a weird person. But they took that even further, and he started thinking and started interacting with podcast people listening about how it could turn into a film. And they thought, well, what if the guy was actually really screwed up and kidnapped another guy and turned him into a walrus.
Oh my god, like physically, like say a human centipede?
Yeah.
Like human...
Yeah. So he ended up thinking, and I got to chat to Kevin Smith about this movie, and it was a similar thing with Freddie Prinze Jr. I think I asked one question, and he went on for about 8 minutes, but it was all gold. It was so great, just a stream of consciousness. He's so smart about movies, so he was talking about his past and how he started out with no money, and he was really creative, and then he kind of lost his way the more money he got. He's not proud of films like Jersey Girl, you know, he thinks there's some good stuff in there, but it's not exactly what he wanted to make. So he decided his new mantra is he's only going to make films that only he could make.
Right.
So my one question to him was like, what is it about Tusk that is the thing that only you could make? And his short answer was that nobody else would make this movie because it's so screwed up. And then just because of that, he wanted to make the movie. And you know what? Now it's getting distribution. My second question that I didn't get to ask was going to be, does it matter to you what critics say about this movie? Does it matter to you if it even makes money, or is it just, you know, enough that it's out there in the world? I think he would have said it's just enough that it's out there in the world, but, you know, I didn't get to ask that. But it's just amazing to be in his presence.
Yeah, wow.
I think he's so smart, and I can't wait to see what he does to change the future of film.
All right, just a reminder, guys, if you are wanting to chat along with us, at Geek Bombshells is where you can comment, because that's the only way that we can see these messages at the moment. Yeah, well, guys, it's been very big. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, pretty much from morning till late evening, we would do panel after panel. I've got Thursday's list here somewhere that we can talk through. We started off by doing a press line for the film The Giver. Now, this is based on a 1993 novel by the author Lois Lowry. Now, what I didn't know was that this is actually in the curriculum for a lot of Americans.
I didn't know that either. It's not for Australia.
No, we're Australian. We're like, I read Looking for a Lady.
And Jeff Bridges wanted to make this film for such a long time. He got the rights, and then he lost the rights, and it went back and forth. And he actually wanted his father, Lloyd Bridges, to play the title role of The Giver, but unfortunately Lloyd passed away. So now it's finally been made, and Jeff Bridges is the giver, which I think is a really nice full circle moment.
That's the thing, and this is a big breakout role for Brenton Thwaites, who is a young Aussie kid who was in Maleficent. I think he did Blue Lagoon. He was in Home and Away. He was really chilled and relaxed.
He was so nice. He was so excited when he talked to either of us because he just loved to hear the Australian accent. You know, I think it's such a big thing for someone so young as well to come here, and he's been thrust into the spotlight, and then he's in the madness of Comic-Con, and I was like, yeah, I've been following your career for a while. He's like, oh, you're Australian? And he gave me a big hug. It's so sweet.
He walks over to me and I'm just like, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
It's like an instinct. I can't help it.
Also got a beautiful moment there with Adea Rush, who plays Fiona. She's so young. I was like, this book was written in 1993. Where were you? She's like, I was -4.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, 1993 is when Aladdin came out. That's all I know about it. But I got grouped with Adea and Lois, the author, and it was so weird because she's so young, and, you know, Lois is... She's hit the years.
Elderly.
Yeah. So kind of having those two together to talk about the novel was beautiful.
And to talk about Comic-Con as well.
Yeah, right.
Such different experiences.
Yeah.
But Lois was so excited to be at Comic-Con.
She was just so excited the bloody movie's out. She's been waiting just as long as everyone else. But a beautiful moment was I asked Adea what, was there a part when filming that she was just like, whoa. I said, was it the fact that you've got stars like Meryl Streep, Katie Holmes, Taylor Swift on set with you? And she goes, actually, it was when Lois came on set. And like, I was so fixated on making sure that I was everything that she'd imagined, that this was everything that she'd imagined. And you know what? We've got the Lois tick of approval, and that's all that counts. And I was like, that's really sweet, guys.
That's so nice. I also talked to Penguins of Madagascar.
Oh, yeah.
And John Malkovich, I said, you know, can you notice anything of yourself in the character, because they film for animation, they film
their faces,
while they do a voice so that they can have a little bit of like expressions. They can use that. And he said, actually, Dave the octopus looks like my sister. It's like, don't tell her that. He was so funny. I love John Malkovich.
And did you get to speak with Benedict Cumberbatch again?
I got to sit down with him the day before Comic-Con, but I kept missing him on the press lines. I missed him at The Hobbit, and I missed him at Penguins. A horrible thing sometimes happens when you're in a certain spot and you see them coming. Sometimes they'll put people there, and then they make their way down, and it gets to a point where they just cross, so you miss someone. So unfortunately I miss Benedict, but he's obviously one of the kings of Comic-Con too.
Yeah, I love been seeing photos of him where he'll do stand-ups and interviews without shoes on. Oh, my kind of guy.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was another one that we got a chance to have a chat with. Megan Fox, Will Arnett.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to Will, another thing I missed out on, but Megan was kind of funny because she was talking about, someone had asked her, are you a geek? Are you a nerd? Do you really like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And she was like, I'm actually really geeky about a lot of things. Then I remembered that she told me that she is fixated on Bigfoot and finding Bigfoot. So I said to her, oh, yeah, like Bigfoot. And then she went, oh, my God. And she started talking about Bigfoot. And then I saw that quote being used like everywhere around the world because I was paired with like a couple of people.
Yeah, so they've jumped onto that answer that you'd asked.
And then you
Sasquatch.
Told her all about your underwear.
Yeah,
as you do.
Well, I mean, as a kid, I used to wear my brother's Ninja Turtle undies, and on the school playground, I'd pull up my skirts and be like, check it out.
Still does to me. I saw them last night. Check them out. Oh, God.
I haven't changed at all. Yeah. Will Arnett was funny though, because like we were walking up and I was like, hey buddy, and he's just like, hold on a second. And he needed his stylist. And I was like, is everything okay, buddy? And he's just like, it's really hot. It's really hot. I didn't think it'd be so hot. I feel like if I start this interview during it, the sweat is going to come through my shirt. So, and this woman was just like, is everything okay? And he's like, have you got tissues? So he grabs the tissue and he's like dabbing under in his shirt the whole time. And I'm like having small talk with him while he's dabbing his tit sweat. And unbeknownst to him, my cameraman had just pressed record the whole time, so we've got it all on camera.
Yeah, boob sweat on camera.
So well, but he was really, really cool. He did a Batman impersonation for me. There you go, Bex.
Cool.
I know how much you love Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
He did a little bit of a Batman for me. It was great.
I love that. Bruce Wayne. Who is he? He's a cool guy. Sounds like a cool guy. I love that. That's so funny.
Watch that movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, Megan Fox was surprisingly really kind of cool.
She's a cool chick. Yeah. I like her.
She throws it back a bit.
Yeah, she's really, really cool. She always has been in interviews. I like that.
And I noticed that I didn't ask, but the interviewer next to me was like, so, what was it like working with Michael Bay? And she had a great answer. She's just like, look, him and I have got a great rapport. We're fine. He's attached to this project. He's only the producer, so we had the initial meetings, which was great. And then, he gave us a stamp of approval, and that's all that really matters. I was like, nice, well done. For The Last Ship, again, speaking of Michael Bay, was talking to the cast of this new show that's coming out that he's directed called The Last Ship.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, synopsis is there's a global pandemic that kills or sickens about 50% of the world's population. And basically the show is all about the USS Nathan James. And there's about 217 men and women on this isolated vessel, and it's up to them to pretty much save the rest of the world. From that, though, this is all I wanted to talk about. Adam Baldwin. I got to chat to Jane from Firefly. And if you're watching this and you know my history about Nathan Fillion and Firefly, I was really composed. I mentioned Firefly a bit. I was like, do you still get recognized as Jane with the beanie? He's like, yeah, I do. It's funny. People are like really latched on to this beanie that I had. I was like, yeah, your mum made it. Sorry, bit of a Firefly fan. Geek out. So all the photos are up at facebook.com/Geek Bomb if you haven't checked out any of those.
I also got to talk to the cast of Expendables 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which was pretty mental. It was just a couple of them, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, Wesley Snipes, and Kellen Lutz. And we did the interviews for Fandango Movie Clips, and it was in the middle of everywhere. So we had a crowd just watching, and it was so loud, and I had to yell really loudly to get them to hear me what I was saying. But they were really lovely guys. They have so much fun, and I think that's the reason why those films work, because they know how silly they are, like how silly the premise is, and they just go for it, and they don't take themselves seriously. Wesley was talking about how there are a lot of prison jokes in there, and he was cool with it. He was laughing. He had a good time, and he was nice, and everybody was just really, really love
Pay
it.
taxes. We've got to pay.
Gotta remember to pay your taxes.
Speaking of movies that, you know, really like to take the piss out of it and don't take themselves seriously, Sharknado.
Yay.
Yay, I chatted to Ian Ziering and Vivica Fox, who, you know, did a really great press release. But my favourite part talking to Ian, he was just like, look, I didn't want to do the movie. I read this Sharknado script and I was like, no, are you kidding me? No way. And then he goes, he looked over to his wife who was pregnant with their young child as well. And she's like, honey, you got to work, you know, because he had to hit a particular income to reap his health benefits. So he felt like he just didn't have a choice. He had to do it, but then was so stoked that everyone just jumped on board with the ludicrous nature of it. So now he's just backing it. He's like doing tweeting parties. He's just all about it. And he did flash his abs during the interview.
He has abs.
He has abs.
Steve Sanders.
Oh my God. I was like, dude, you've been in the best shape of your life, your entire life. Like,
that's great.
And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Flash. And I was just like,
what?
oh my God.
That's amazing.
Because he's like 50 years old.
50 years old. Noah Outlaw, I like that question. Do you have even any more hope for TMNT after Comic-Con, maybe even less? I didn't get to see the footage that they showed inside the panel.
I only know what we've seen from the trailer.
I did, but yeah, I have been pretty vocal about not being enthused about it and not being excited about the way the turtles look. And when I talked to the director, Jonathan Leesman, I basically said, look, I'm not convinced. Like, what do I need to be convinced? And he just said, you know, I'm a big fan myself of the 90s cartoon because that was my thing. Like, I'm a fan of that. I know they were darker in the comic books that came before it, but I never.
But even though, I was a big fan of the original movies as well that came out in like 1990s.
Vanilla Ice kind of thing. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Camp is shit now. Like, if you were to watch it, you'd be like, as an adult, I don't like this at all. But as a kid, I was like eating it up, which is what I think this generation's going to do.
So, yeah, I'm still nervous about it. For people like me that are still holding on to that 90s version, but I just need to let go of that. And I think it is for a different generation.
I interviewed the original creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was like, listen, let's chat about the look here. So again, been a massive fan of the cartoon series, of the original movies. I said, look, Shredder. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, Shredder looks a bit different. Shredder sounds a bit different. Yeah. Shredder's ethnicity is different. What did you think about Edward Shredderhands? And he was just like, yeah, I saw that. And it just kept going and going and going. And he goes, that's not how I made him. And he told me this great story about how Shredder came about. He was washing the dishes with his friend, the other co-creator of it. And they had the cheese grater out. And one of them put it on his arm going, wouldn't it be funny if they were the grater? You know, and then like that would be their guard. It would be like, you could grate people. And he's like, the grater, the shredder. That's how it came about. So the little geek in me was like, cool. But yeah, the new Shredder sucks.
Wait and see. I don't even know if I want to see the movie.
We have one. How about this? I met both Nathan Fillion and Marina Baccarin. Well, I know who she is.
Yeah, she's the pretty one in Homeland.
There you go. 2 years before I even saw Firefly. You know what? If I had met
Firefly ever.
Oh, no. But I think that when you meet them after seeing Firefly, it makes it a completely different experience and you can't actually hold your tear ducts into place without them creeping down your face. With The Flash, did you get any goodies from Comic-Con? No, last year I got my Harley Quinn poster, my Nightwing poster.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of stuff and I was supposed to walk the floor, but I left so I could beat the traffic.
You've become LA.
Right.
All about the traffic. I did go onto the floor, but for me, most of the stuff I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
There were some cool Mondo posters, but that was the thing that I wish I got because
Mondo's moving over into video games too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Because they do amazing movie posters. And they had a couple of Comic-Con exclusives that they were releasing, including Guardians of the Galaxy. And I saw a couple of them, and they were amazing. So I wish that I got it there in time for that. But we were working so hard. Another highlight was we got to meet some fans of AMC Movie Talk, which is another show that I do and Lord guests on as well. And they were so sweet and nice. And that, for me, is one of the highlights of Comic-Con, is when you get to chat with people, different fans of different things, and I love nothing more than overhearing two people geeking out about something really specific.
Yeah.
So whether it is movie posters, I was geeking out with someone about Mondo, and then someone else was geeking out about something very specific to do with zombies. You know,
Yay.
I didn't understand it, but they had found each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Good
Or just
connecting.
meeting fans who like AMC Movie Talk. It's like, oh, it's everybody's geeky about something, and that's what Geek Bomb is all about too.
Well done. So when I was on the floor,
This is terrible.
I know.
This is bad.
I did this mainly for Tara. Tara got me into Orphan Black. She's obsessed with it, and for good reason. It's a great show, and I have been watching it. With Michelle Boyd, we were hitting the floor, and like I was using that as a prelim because it was the lunchtime of Thursday, so like the first day. So I went to check it out and be like, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, and I found these 3 great minimalist Star Wars posters that were in red, green, and purple, I think,
Awesome.
and they were silhouetted and they were gorgeous, and they would just look great right there.
Right there in the blank space of wall.
I know. No, I'm trying to make sure my bedroom doesn't look like a 16-year-old boy's room. But while I was there, I struck by the BBC America booth, and there's a big line waiting, and I was like, done. Because in it, you put your head in this little circle place which lit up, and you would get your face put on Tatiana's clones. But the problem is, there wasn't a display screen, so you have no idea what it looked like. You couldn't align it. You just had to guess. Well, my guessing sucked.
Yeah, look at that face. That is so freaky. Look at the short hair.
So basically,
No
I
chin.
don't have. I tried it twice as well. Let me go back to
So
do it again.
creepy.
It's even worse.
No chin, just a giant forehead.
So I got that wrong. Michelle did it again the second time as well because
Did
hers
she
was
do good?
terrible. And
Yeah.
her second one was amazing. It was
Yeah.
flawless. And I was like, I'm not talented at this. So that's something that is a goodie that I did take away. But I'm a little bit gutted that I didn't stock up and get some good stuff for the walls.
Yeah,
Running
so
out of space. So.
Thursday night we also went to the IGN Sin City party. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Suicide Girls stripping. I know you got excited when they came out with
Star Wars.
Stormtrooper
Star Wars Stormtroopers.
heads on
They look
and
great.
bikinis.
I actually like the monkey mask.
Oh yeah, they
Dr.
did
Sayers, Dr. Sayers, Dr. Sayers, Dr. Sayers. I was like, I really did.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
everyone really got into that. It got to a point though where they'd done about 12 routines, and you kind of like,
Yeah. And we were pretty good this Comic-Con, I have to say, because we were both feeling really sick.
yeah,
so
we
we were like,
hardly went to.
we would go for a party and then we would be
I didn't
in
see
bed
midnight. I didn't see midnight.
We were in bed by midnight because
Yeah.
we had so much work to do.
Yeah, we were professionals this
So
time.
Friday, what did we do, Maude? You did a couple of things.
Yeah, I did. Friday was the King. I didn't get there in that time. But Summer Friday is the Kingsman, the Secret Service.
Kingsman Secret Service.
Yeah, look out for a guy called Taron Egerton. He's a young English chap who's pretty much the star of this movie. The movie premise is kind of like it's like James Bond, but instead of it being elitists, it's they get to choose one person 1 year to become this full-on spy. And Taron plays this guy called Gary Eggsy Irwin, who is, I like to call him a
Trav, yeah.
Yep.
Sort of down and out.
Runs amok, stealing, does
Young
parkour
kids.
to get away from things.
Yeah,
And
sort of
he's-
like Attack of the Block kind of kids, no hopers.
Yeah, and he's been selected to become one of the Kingsman in the Secret Service.
And it's so, you got to watch the trailer because the production design is amazing. Matthew Vaughn directed this, and he actually decided not to do X-Men Days of Future Past, to do this instead, because him and Mark Miller, who wrote the graphic novel, they always wanted to do this. Apparently the whole idea came out of a conversation with each other.
Get out.
That's what Mark Miller told me, a conversation with each other about those kind of James Bond movies of the past,
cool.
and with the cool gadgets, and wouldn't it be great to do something like
This
that?
movie
that's
looks
super elegant?
awesome.
It looks amazing, and ladies, Colin Firth, Mr. Darcy, he is so dapper and
I told him.
incredible in the movies and the suits. She snorted in front of him,
Remember?
and he was like, "That was masterful. He's so elegant."
And afterwards we were like, they're like, thank you, next. And I just looked straight at him and I was like, you are so damn dapper.
Yeah, he is so good looking and just wonderful. And in the movie, he looks incredible.
Oh, he's perfect.
The production, like one thing that I always think Matthew Vaughn does really well, which is very noticeable in X-Men First Class, was, oh, you got Pringles?
Yes.
Production
Flavor.
design, being really elegant and timeless. Kingsman looks like it could be set in the 60s or 70s. It could be now.
Yeah.
Everything's so shiny and
Beautiful.
great. And the cast were talking about how the gadgets were all very detailed and they felt really real. We also talked to Samuel L. Jackson, who took a while to remember that he follows this one on Twitter.
I'm like, dude, it's me. Sam. We go way back. We do this every time we speak.
Every time you remind him, and then he goes, oh, yeah, I saw that picture with that person. He plays the bad guy, but he's kind of a tricky interview because he won't give much. He kind of just looks at you and smiles. He's cool. I really like him, but it's hard to get a soundbite.
It's better one-on-one.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. And Friday night we went to the Playboy party, Bates Motel Playboy party, only for a second.
That means that Friday I did my iZombie interviews, which was one of the highlights.
Oh, yes. Tell me about that.
I really loved it. So this is Rob Thomas's next TV project. Rob Thomas, of course, did Veronica Mars.
Not Matchbox 20.
No, he's not Matchbox 20. Israel, I must be lonely. No, not him. So he's very, very good at writing strong television shows with great sort of suspense and mysteries in it because they solve crimes with a strong female lead. And that's what iZombie is all about. So picture Veronica Mars, but instead of a high school, it's a morgue. And instead of a young little sleuth detective, it's a zombie. And what she does is when she's in the morgue, she'll eat the victim's brain to access their memories, and then that's how she can solve these crimes.
Wow.
In it, I interviewed Robbie Buckley, who I remember from Lipstick Jungle, because he is so hot. But I was like, who is this guy? Anyway, as soon as we go to interview, he grabs the microphone off me, decides to interview me instead, says that we're on our awkward prom, proposes to me, and then signs my tit. I couldn't be happier. That was one of his goals. He goes, I always wanted to sign a baby's forehead or a boob. And I was like, what do you know? Hello.
I don't have a baby's forehead, but I do have two boobs.
It was like, pen, let's do this.
And his publicist was like, what is happening?
Yeah, every publicist hates
What are you doing?
But I also got to chat to a guy called Rule, who I'm going to get on Geek Bomb's Geeks Unleashed. He's an up-and-coming actor who was just fanboying at Comic-Con. He's a huge gamer, and I was listening to a question that someone else asked him, which was, if iZombie was a video game, what kind of game would it be? Straight away, he's like, well, I think it would be a lot like Majora's Mask and would have the 3-day countdown effect, what it is. And the interviewer's like, and I'm here going, I know what you're talking about. So we just had a geek out, and then that night at the Playboy party, I saw them both, since we ended up hanging out with Jim Lee, Mr. DC. So I don't even think I spoke. I was just like, hello. Yeah. And so Saturday
sure,
other things happened on Friday.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. We were pretty busy that day, but Saturday was the biggest day for me. It was like all day doing press interviews. That was when I talked to Kevin Smith about Tusk. I also talked to Genesis Rodriguez, who's in the film. She is so sweet.
Yeah?
She's really, really, really lovely, genuine person, so I really liked that. And then we did Sin City 2, It's Aimed to Kill For, which is a film I'm really looking forward to. I got to visit the set. I don't even think it was last year. I think it was the year before in Austin. Robert Rodriguez has Troublemaker Studios in Austin, which is incredible. Everything is under one roof, which is unheard of.
Wow.
Costume department. He does the posters there. He's got a guy who cuts the trailer there.
There's a gallery and they all paint.
Yeah, they all paint. There's a guy hired full-time, an art teacher, to help them paint. And he was showing me Lady Gaga did this in the downtime of Machete and this. It's amazing. They even shoot all the pictures for the posters there. They have a photographer and all the stills. And, of course, the big sound stages, so I got to go on that. And there was a lot of green on the stage.
Yeah.
So when I talked to Josh Brolin about that, I was like, does that make you sick? Because staring at that level of green, even for a short time, for me, made me feel quite nauseous. And he said, no, you get used to it, and it actually is really liberating. It doesn't make you feel sick. It actually activates a part of your brain, your imagination. I also wanted to talk to him about just saying the dialogue, because that was the main thing for me when I saw the first Sin City, which I'm a huge fan of. I was like, how much fun would it be to say those lines and to say them in that way?
And he said, that's a really good question.
Because I love that, and he really enjoyed it. And I talked to him about playing an earlier version of Clive Owen's character, and he was like, I guess I didn't really think about it too much. Maybe I should have. He was a great guy. We also spoke to Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez about it. I can't wait for that film. I'm really, really excited. The Hobbit as well. I got to talk. You were there too for Hobbit, weren't you?
Certainly was. Hobbit was great. They like to pair the celebrities and then shove them along in the group situation. So unfortunately for my group situation, there was 4 outlets, and one guy didn't quite clue in that all 4 of us were relying on these questions. And
it's group etiquette. You should know when you're grouped with other journalists that if you're going to ask a question, make sure it benefits everyone.
And then
just ask one.
And then move it along.
Let someone else ask the second question.
So he's so excited, and we were talking to Benedict Cumberbatch and Andy Serkis. So of course, I wanted to just say, Benedict, was there any time where you're just like, give me a sword, I can do this, because he's only really doing the voice and mocap for it, which is the same with Andy Serkis. I was like, you just want to get in there.
And also, Andy Serkis has changed his life.
Yeah, that's what I did get a chance to talk to him and
cool.
to say, he said that yes, because it's not going to question because I was so shitty at this one guy who goes, what did you dress up as a kid? This has been going on and he goes, this has been going on for 15 years of my life, nearly 20 years since he first started, and he has been actively involved in all of them.
Now he is like the go-to guy.
The mocap guy. Oh, this has set him up for sure.
And he has his own studios now.
I'm surprised that when we get that next level, because we've got mocap now, but I think the technology is going to come. Yeah.
Mark Hamill's in the Kingsman. Thanks, Noah. Forgot about
that. Don't be that guy, Noah. Don't be that guy.
Did I ever go out on a date with that guy from Schmo's No Movie Show last week? Was there a date that I was supposed to go on?
Oh, was that supposed to be Tiff? Is he thinking about Tiffany?
Yeah. On another show that me and Maude do, Schmo's No Movie Show, there was a bet with another girl, Tiffany. She had to go out with Bob Finstock, this creepy guy. But no, that wasn't me. I didn't have to go out on a date with anyone, luckily. But The Hobbit, it was really nice to talk to all the cast, especially about, like we said before, about it being the end of such a long journey for some of them.
That was my question. It was just always like, Middle Earth is about the journey. Well, yours is coming to an end.
Yeah, epic journey.
And a lot of them, who was it? Luke Evans said, you know what, I filmed this movie like a long time ago and I've just forgotten about that, and it's, only now doing press and revisiting it that it's like,
sweet.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're such a tight unit. And had I got another question with Kate Blanchett and Lee Pace, because I had a chance to talk to the elves, the senior elves at that, I was going to say, during the first trilogy, all the team, the 8, got together and they all got the matching tattoos.
Yeah.
And I was like, when you guys
did you guys get anything?
Get a bit of Middle Earth tattoo? Because she got a tattoo after after a movie for something.
Yeah, well, they do seem like a really tight unit.
Yeah.
As do the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Avengers. So that was how my Saturday rounded out, was with Marvel. So first came down Ant-Man, cast and crew. So I got to speak to Peyton Reed, who's the director of Ant-Man, who must have been really gross. He must have been really nervous going into Hall H, because obviously everybody, myself included, wanted to see Edgar Wright direct Ant-Man. He had such a great vision for it, and for whatever reason it didn't work, and then he moved on. So a lot of pressure on Peyton, but I spoke to Kim and I just said, the film is going to start shooting August 18. You only just came on board. Have you had much of a chance to put your own stamp on it? And he said, yes, he has. And I said, well, I'm assuming because you're the director and you've got Paul Rudd as the star, it's going to be really funny. Is it going to be more of a comedy than action? He said, actually, no, it's going to be similar to other Marvel movies in that it has the elements of humor, but it also is a heist movie as well. And it's a hard concept to get your head around. I spoke to Paul Rudd, and he said that he actually thinks it's really cool, the shrinking as a superpower. Mm. And it was also Paul Rudd's first Comic-Con, so he was kind of like geeking out about everything. And he's like, and I'm here with the Avengers. This is so crazy. And of course, the Avengers walk into the room. It's chaos. It's chaos. People are paired like they were with Hobbit, celebrities together, making their way down the press line willy-nilly. There is so many press, and we were all shoved in. Luckily, when we were grouped up, I just happened to be in a group with 3 of my really close friends. So we worked together. We're all ladies, and we're all like, okay, so if I ask this, and then my friend was like, Nadia was like, I'll ask this, and Shannon was like, I'll ask this, and Amy Rose from AMC was like, and I'll ask this. So we worked so well. We each had one question. You were very polite and respectful. And the thing that even though it was chaos and madness, the thing that I loved was you can see how genuine their love for each other is.
Yeah.
Like they're all hugging each other, patting each other on the back, and they seem to have a really nice camaraderie.
Yeah, which is a good thing because that's the next 10 years of their life.
I know,
written out for
but
them.
it's really nice to see. You could imagine that it could get to be a battle of the egos, but it's not at all. So I'm excited about Avengers 2, and they were all saying this one's even better than the
Robert
first.
Downey Jr. was maybe not going to do it, but then he did sign on at the last minute.
Yeah, and Jeremy Renner as well. Robert Downey said he had to actually convince him to come back because he wasn't so sure. I don't think Hawkeye was very well used in the first Avengers.
I agree.
I don't know anything about
it. Was kind of like coupled
they
coupled Hawkeye and Black Widow
kind
of together. It was like the stars.
It's good. So hopefully this one would be really cool. So that was our Comic-Con, right?
Yeah. What did we do? Oh, then we just had a dinner.
Then
we went to bed
with people. Because by the time we finished, it was so late, and we had dinner at 10 p.m. and then we just collapsed and went to sleep. And then this morning we came back.
No fun Nerd HQ parties. Last year I was like, I had the best time. I didn't even get to one of those parties this time around. But you know what? I'm not in hospital, so silver lining.
Yeah, and we had that to deal with. We had a lot of
I've been filling up tissues. It's like a wet water balloon.
So we just couldn't go out. And crazy.
But you know what? That's good.
Yeah.
Some sleep. Nathan complimented us, even though I've got red.
You both look beautiful. Oh, thank you, Nathan.
Yeah.
I don't think
what besides Star Wars could have been announced and shown that would have blown your minds? I know you both are beautiful. Yeah. Oh, besides Star Wars. Oh.
Yeah, what could have blown your minds?
Back to the Future 4. No.
I think, I don't know, I even wanted from DC an announcement of Justice League, or maybe just like bringing out all the casts that they're going to.
Even Avengers have this great poster artwork.
Have they really confirmed exactly which characters are going to be in the Justice League movie?
No, they haven't even defined the 5 yet.
Yeah, so I would have loved to hear something like that. Again, I said Doctor Strange from Marvel. I really want to know who they're casting, even though they pushed the dates back, so it's going to be a while
2017.
Yeah, before we see it, I just want to know who.
I read a tweet from the studio, someone there saying, yeah, wish we could announce Doctor Strange, but the deal was signed too late, so 2015 will be the year for that. And I just kind of feel like that's what Comic-Con was.
Yeah, and Interstellar, I'm so glad that they did something at Comic-Con for the fans. I just wish, personally, being very selfish, I just wish Christopher Nolan came down the press line so I could talk to him.
Oh my God, I would have loved to have seen that. Yeah. I love you so much.
I love you.
What else could have been announced? I mean, we didn't hear anything from Fantastic Four. That's kind of been shoved under the rug as well.
That's true.
I would have loved to have had, Michael B. Jordan. Who else has been cast in that?
Like Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, and Miles
Teller. Yeah, that would have been kind of nice.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Nathan said what the side Star Wars, but
I wish I would have
defined the side movies that they're doing with Star Wars, like because we're guessing Boba Fett and
the Bounty Hunter,
young Han Solo, but I don't think that's been officially confirmed. And the directors have been confirmed for those sides, but you don't know which is doing which story or what's happening.
It's still a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, and you would have just loved anything with Zelda. Right?
Yeah, but that was what my E3 was all about. Hyrule Warriors. Here we go.
Yeah.
I would have also liked to have danced with Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
What else? Yes, thank you to Noah for reminding us that Mark Hamill was in the Kingsman.
Can I also say another highlight was seeing you dressed up as Crazy Dragon Lady.
I did. I cosplayed, guys. I tried. I forgot my dress.
Yeah.
Screw this. It's right. Ignore my pajama bottoms. It's in my cosplay drawer.
She took.
I have a costume drawer with like crab claws.
She took everything except for her actual dress part of the costume. She had to wear her other dress behind. But
where is it though?
The wig she had was just a big blonde wig, and it was crazy.
My dress!
and she wandered around screaming, "Where are my dragons?" And
I
even
missed
some of
my
our
dress.
friends.
This is the dress that I was supposed to wear.
Oh, that's
I'll
nice.
get it over at Halloween. It's inside out. But it's end of season 3, Daenerys Targaryen, where she oh!
Oh, nasal spray. That's been our lifesaver. Even some of our friends who know Maude really well didn't know who this crazy person was. I was just yelling at them, "Where are my dragons? Where are my dragons?"
Jump onto at Maude Garrett, my Instagram, MAUDEGRRETT. There's just a lot of hair. I didn't have a chance to kind of pin some bits back like she has in the show. It was just out. And because I didn't have my dress, I was wearing my Link dress under it, so I just had to put all the hair out and over it. I just looked mad. I looked crazy. Wow, my dragons!
She was crazy.
What else have we got here? Do you wish we would have seen? What do you wish we would have seen from Star Wars Episode 7?
I think just a title for me. I'm excited about that. I know that.
Haven't they got one?
No, they haven't announced the.
There have been rumours about like the order of the Council of the
Jedi.
Of the.
Nothing's been confirmed, and JJ's so great at keeping secrets, and everything that you've seen so far from the set is exactly what he wants you to see, which is fantastic, and I trust him.
Even if they have the release date of who won,
I just wanted something to keep us excited, you know.
Even who won that big competition, you know, like how the UNICEF has teamed up with Project.
Yeah.
Even if they announced the winner and we met the person that was going to be the walk-on role, that would have been cool, something like that. Yeah. What else have we got? The Flash. Hey there, Dave. The old nana on back fence is cutting her lawn.
She's going to put the...
Big shout out to her.
Noah says, speaking of Kevin Smith, were y'all and the Roadways talk about being in the set of Star Wars Episode 7? No, I wasn't, but I remember seeing the photo he posted on Twitter of him just crying. Like, he obviously signed a million NDAs. He can't say anything about it, so I didn't even want to ask him about it because I know that he's sworn to secrecy. But I think that picture tells 1,000 words, and if he is that emotional about it, then I'm sure a lot of other fans of Star Wars will be that way too.
Oh, big shout out to Boba there. I'm saying Boba now. That's how long I've been in America. And, oops, I'm being naughty. So, Frozen in Covenant. Han Solo.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Nathan's weighing in on the Wonder Woman debate. I get the heel stings, but they're wedges, so not so horrible. Maybe they're kind of required considering their height.
I don't know.
I'm 6 foot, so am I. And
I kind of want to see, and a lot of people, and Nathan also saying, would you want to see a conservative Wonder Woman? She is a feminist, Amazonian woman, tropical type island. Yeah, I totally get that. I actually just want to see more of how she fits into the world of Batman and Superman and what her context is.
Yeah.
And I want to see her in movement and in action.
I would have loved a line of dialogue just to hear it as well, so to put the whole piece together. Like, a picture tells 1,000 words, but, you know, I'd like to hear it one word. Yeah, because I think
she was very sexy in Fast and Furious, Gal Gadot. I'm not one that's going to
Gal Gadot sounds like a dip that you have with your carrots and celery. I've got Baba Ganoush, I've got some Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. I'm not one to completely write her off or Ben Affleck off as Batman. I think you just have to wait to see what they're going to do. She didn't blow me away in Fast, Furious 5 and 6, but she wasn't given much to do. Yeah. So let's wait and see more from her.
That is true. Nathan and Noah. This is like the Nathan and Noah chat room.
Thank you. Cheers for all the questions. Appreciate it.
Maybe the outfit will be changed like Captain America, so colour will be added in the film. We just don't know. We're only seeing what we get.
Yeah, let's go speculate on that.
Noah, I know Maude is a Star Wars nerd. Are you looking forward to Star Wars Rebels more after Comic-Con? Absolutely. My only disappointing part about Star Wars Rebels is that when I was chatting to the voice of Ezra, his name is Taylor, he has no idea what Star Wars is all about. It killed me.
Oh, no.
You've got Freddie, you've got Steve and Vanessa, and I was like, the question was, when was the first time you watched Star Wars? Because we can all remember when that was, because it was such an iconic moment. And they were like, Steve, 77, in the cinema, you know, at this cinema where there was only however many. Freddie said the same thing. I remember the cinema where it was, where I saw Empire Strikes Back, because I wasn't born or wasn't old enough for the first one. And he was like, yeah, you know, I saw him as a kid. Yeah. I said, have you seen Clone Wars? Because he's coming off the back of Clone Wars. No, I haven't seen that. But I was given like a Bible when I got the role, and I had a 5-hour flight, and I didn't finish it, and I read it the whole time. So there was a lot of stuff, and I was like, mate, the Star Wars fans are really passionate, you know. I was like, how's the feedback been going? He goes, well, I haven't really heard anything yet. And I was just like, it's so obvious that you don't understand the Star Wars universe. So, I mean, that's fine. If you didn't before, that's all right. But get clued in pretty fast.
Yeah.
The best thing about fandom is that you can become a fan whenever. I know that a big power play is, oh, I've been gaming since I was 5. Oh, I've been playing it since the start. Oh, I've been watching it for all this time. But you can become a hard, fast fan pretty quickly. And I think that, thanks.
Eve Nation.
Yeah, Eve Nation.
He likes our shirts. Ghostbusters, Batman. Things we're geeky about.
Yeah, I kind of wish you would not be kind of a bit
ignorant
about it in a way.
No, I agree that you can become a fan of something at any time, and even, you know, a lot of the Avengers cast, they didn't read comic books. I think that's fine as long as they have an understanding.
Kobe's a great
of
example.
The universe.
She's like, you know what, I got the role, I'm reading the comics, I love them. It's like, tick, amazing. Just, you know, if you're part of the world, don't, I guess it's like, just don't be like, well, I have not watched them, so I'm not going to. Or, you know, there's these actors that are like, I don't want to be influenced by that. But it's like, it's all there. It's great material. Like, it's, if you're casting a book and it's about a character, yeah, read the book so you understand the subtext and what else is going on instead of just a script, which is someone else's interpretation. Sandy Hooper, I hope you are still watching, and I hope we have pepped you up enough because you needed a little bit of pepping up. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Wow, pep up.
Excuse me. Ben Parker, I absolutely agree with you. DC looks to be really stepping up their game. Are they more likely to stand out with their stable of TV shows than movies, at least for now? Yes.
Yeah,
Marvel,
TV shows are great.
Marvel has done Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and what I have appreciated about that is that how they've kept it up to scratch with where Winter Soldier was.
Yeah, which is tricky.
So when Hail Hydra happened, the TV was exploring that even further, which I thought was very, very clever. But with DC, we've got the Arrow, the Flash, and CW.
And they're very separate to the films. They've made that clear.
Very, very separate. But it's 10% camp, but like 90% awesome, I feel. They do have a little bit of camp in there, but the success of the Arrow has meant not only renewed seasons every time, but we get the Flash, which is a spin-off in itself. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I've heard a few people have watched the pilot, and they're loving it. So bring it on. But I agree. I think that Marvel wins the movie battles. DC's winning television at the moment. What else do we got? Sandy Hooper. Women in film are loved only if
She's
Wonder Woman's
naked and lusting after the male lead. Wonder Woman smash these stereotypes. We might not get a Wonder Woman, especially if it names challenges stereotypes. But I just want a complete character, you know, someone that is just interesting, regardless of gender.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it is a lot harder for female superheroes to have their day. People point to the Catwoman solo movie being a bad example of women in film. It's like, it's just a bad film.
Yeah.
It was just badly written, badly made.
If they had a standalone, like, say, Nightwing movie that they had decided to go down a really camp road with, or the actor just didn't resonate in the role, or it was just crap, then same thing. But they're not the ones you hear about.
Yeah, but I am pleased that Lucy has beat Hercules this weekend at the box office.
Oh, Hercules.
Scarlett Johansson beat Dwayne Johnson. And that was a thing that Nathan said, a little tweet there about how he wanted to see Dwayne Johnson come out. And because you know how he's been tweeting about Black Adam or Shazam?
Yes.
He's been very cryptic about it. And I think
that could have been announced at Comic-Con?
Yeah, I'd love to hear. He was there. Dwayne Johnson was there promoting Hercules.
Come on.
Studio, but he could have been there to announce something solid. We want to know what character he's playing. Stop with the cryptic stuff.
Digital Bounce HD. When are you guys going to upload the interviews? Really great question. Fandango has already gotten onto it. Leash?
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and you look up a channel called Super Comic Fun Time, I think it is. It's run by Fandango and Movie Clips. You'll see a whole bunch of all the interviews that I've done. They've been so great. They had an editor sitting downstairs in a restaurant below where we did the press line. So as soon as we'd finish, we'd go down, we'd give them the footage, and he would get it straight up on YouTube. So they're all there, and I'm going to post them all on my site, malonesmovieminute.com. I have posted the first 2 days. I just have to post now all the Avengers stuff that I did yesterday and Kevin Smith and everything else. So go there, and then Maude, I'm sure you'll be getting all your stuff up soon.
Next weekend's The Hot Hits episode will be all about Comic-Con, so all the interviews that we got from that, so it'll be jam-packed, which I'm really excited about. So during the week, my guess is thehothits.com will be uploading videos throughout for that. Also, Geek Bomb, we get their content too, so if you haven't subscribed to youtube.com/geekbombshells, I think now's the time to do it because all my Comic-Con footage will be going up there. Poor little Tara, she's the only one that can edit, so I will try, but they won't look good, but I don't think anyone really cares. So we're going to get that out. But after this, I'm going to upload my Guardians of the Galaxy interviews that I had with Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Benicio del Toro, Vin Diesel, and James Gunn. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy, even though it hasn't even come out yet, it's August 1st in the States and August 8th in Australia. They've already announced a sequel.
I know.
So yeah, like this video as well if you're still sticking around. There's quite a few of you watching this, so just press the like button now. That'd be really cool. Because one poor bastard still loves pressing thumbs down like it's, you know, porn or something. Alicia, where can people subscribe to you, by the way?
You can subscribe to me. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Alicia Malone, or you can look at my little videos on YouTube/movies are my jam. You can subscribe there, and I've got a whole bunch of interviews I've got to put up this week. And I'm going to get to it.
But that's my bed, and that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of the day.
And my bed's next door, and that's what I'm going to be doing.
Welcome to our lives. Hey, screw you, Digital Bounce, for putting this idea into my head. I don't know where it came from, but it's the best thing I've ever read in my life. Do you know the Majora's Mask Link is dead theory? Imagine a Christopher Nolan take on it. Oh. Your love versus my finger together. Oh my God, that would be
perfect for us.
I would almost like to see a modern day version of it as well, and they make it a little bit sci-fi instead of like Hyrule and fantasy. But then the mask. Oh my God, I can't even take it.
Ant-Man footage. When will they release it on the internet? I don't know. There's so many of this stuff that they showed at Comic-Con that they haven't released properly on the internet yet. We haven't seen the proper Batman vs Superman tease, just the dodgy bootleg version.
Yeah.
We have seen Mad Max Fury Road, but a lot of the other stuff we're still waiting to see. So we're still waiting to see the Avengers footage, I think. I couldn't find it. Maybe there's a bootleg copy somewhere.
We have to wrap things up, but we're trying to get through all these questions. Just like one from Sebastian Lacey, who has said, or Lackey, not sure, has said, favorite cosplay costume. This is mine. I don't know why I can't do it on the side. But if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, the character that Sarah Silverman plays, I can't think of her name just right now. But if you can see this, I took a photo of her. Oh,
she had a professional little cart. I saw her as well.
Yeah, so cool. She had the entire cart from Wreck-It Ralph. That's not going to work. But luckily for you, all these photos are up at facebook.com/Geek Bomb. Check out that one. That's my favourite one. It kicked some serious butt. What else have we got here? Well, I like this one. What's the best thing that you're both looking forward to after seeing it at San Diego Comic-Con? Kingsman looks great.
Maze Road for me.
Maze Runner, I think, could be kind of cool. I think it just falls straight in line with the Hunger Games and all those sorts of movies that we've seen.
Yeah, it looks like a nightmare if you're claustrophobic because you go in a maze and it's...
I like to say the Maze Runner is a beautiful fusion between the Labyrinth, between the third challenge in the what is it? The Triwizard Cup?
Triwizard.
In Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And the Space Trash Compactor in A New Hope.
Yeah. There's also there's a film I'm interested about. I don't know whether it'll be good or not, but I talked to some of the cast from Project Almanac.
Yeah. Oh, those two are so together.
They're really sweet.
Oh,
really
they're great.
Sweet young actors.
I love seeing them.
And it's like a chronicle. It's a found footage, sci-fi time travel movie. So it looks really interesting. The trailer's online. Check it out. We'll see what happens when it is actually put together.
Yeah,
it might not be compelling the whole time, but it could be another chronicle.
They say stay away from time travel. So, but this is the good thing about this is not, let's go to the olden days or let's go to the future. They can only go back a day. Like at the start, it's only a couple of hours, and then it's a day, and then like the max they can do is a week. So it's like kind of the immediate repercussions of...
Because also with found footage style, they're limited to when they can actually time travel back to.
That's true. I know.
Before cameras were invented.
Through the eyes of a mosquito. You go squish now. Ben Parker, big question. Exactly how long did it take Stephen Amell to get his shirt off? Amell, obviously from Arrow. I don't know, but if I was there, I would have been all over that because I think he is the hottest thing. He's so good looking. I needed a
Seems
moment.
really nice too.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. When he had Vine, he was one of my favorites to follow. He was so great. He's so funny. What else have we got here? We've spoken about teasers of Batman, Superman, Age of Ultron. We haven't really had much time because we were in the press lines. How did the Gotham and Flash look? The only thing that I saw about that was half a cupcake from the Flash and a Gotham old school cop car. I didn't get to see any of that, but I will. We will be tackling those for Geek Bomb, doing recaps, so don't worry about that. Thank you, Nathan File, for letting us tell us how to say your last name. P-F-E-I-L is like file. There you go. Well, let's go to the top now. Do we watch Orange is the New Black? Not yet. Not yet.
I've watched a few in the first series. I know I'm terrible with TV. I kind of always give up on it, but I hear it's amazing, so I'll have to watch.
Yeah, and all the time that we have, because we just sit around here doing absolutely nothing.
When I have time, I rewatch a film.
We've just clocked 4 days at Comic-Con and we're on here chatting with you. Hey. Noah, which do you think The Rock will play, Black Adam or Shazam? Let's do a bet right now. I reckon you think Shazam?
No, I reckon Black Adam.
Damn it, I think Black Adam.
Okay. Because the first time when he talked about it to Total Film, it sounded like Shazam. Because he was saying,
everyone thinks it's Shazam.
Just one word, which alludes to the fact that he says Shazam to become the character. Just the one word. But then he posted a picture of Black Adam, and seeing Black Adam, I was like, he looks a lot like him. And he did kind of allude to the fact of being evil as well. Isn't Black Adam evil? Or is he just a different version of character?
He's kind of like, he's a little bit like Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be on his bad side, but he's not necessarily the bad guy.
Yeah.
I love this. Let's do the emojicons here. Y'all make the best talk show. Ready?
Couple. Thanks, Noah.
Nathan File, will we ask Tiffany if she'll marry you?
Sure, we'll ask.
Oh, how's me? I was going to be like, nah, do your own dirty work. If I can't get a date, I'm not going to get you a marriage proposal.
But I'm nice, so I'll ask.
Do you wish the Captain Marvel film was announced?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm interested about that one. Especially because I didn't know until recently when I was doing research about Shazam that Shazam was called Captain Marvel.
Yes,
obviously,
but then
it's a DC character,
comic.
so then they've had a lot of issues with Marvel about changing the name. But then Marvel has Captain Marvel. It's also confusing to me, but I do love the cinematic universes of these characters, so that's where I like to. A lot of people say to me, why don't you read comic books? But I really love discovering them in the form of cinema because that's what I grew up with and that's my personal love.
We're just doing a room tour for me, aren't we? Next time I'm going to have to do it from your room.
Yeah, more
people seeing me in my pajamas. So this is what I get stuck into. I've got to get the DC one. I've always been more Marvel than DC because of X-Men, but that can all change.
I've got a similar book like that, but it's Martin Scorsese.
That's us in a nutshell. I'm going to just do one last question, and then we'll call it a day.
Noah says, have I seen all the Star Wars movies? Yeah. But
that's an unfair question.
Some of them I've only seen once. So I've seen the original 3, not the prequels, a few times. I do really want to watch them again before Episode 7 comes out, just to refresh my memory, because I'm not like this one. I can't remember everything about Star Wars.
I can't remember everything about it.
I didn't know that geeky about it. But the prequels I've only seen once, and I saw them all at once, and so I can't really differentiate between them. I don't really want to see them again.
Okay, it goes like this. Ready? Pod race, first boner, and you are the chosen one. That's the prequels in a nutshell.
Any other questions you want to take?
What upcoming TV shows are you looking forward to? This is a really great time to tell you that our television doesn't actually connect to TV. Mine connects to my Xbox and yours connects to Apple iTunes. And you watch movies all day and I play games.
Yeah.
So that's our recap. We've been going for over an hour now. We really appreciate you guys sticking through pretty much this whole time. Honestly, that's amazing. Thanks, Sandy, for asking me out on a date. Come here, you. Mwah. There we go. We will be back. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're getting videos all week. Make sure you follow us at Alicia Malone, at Maude Garrett. you don't know how to spell it, Google our names. Yeah, we'll be in touch. You've got malonesmovieminute.com and I'm geekbomb.net. Guys, we do this so that we can relay it all to you and get our geek on, so I really do appreciate that. That's all right. If I could hug you all individually, I would in a creepy way. Alicia gives good hugs. I give boob hugs. That's my height. Look at.
I know.
In fairness, stand up, Alicia.
See, all you see is boobs. Yeah, it is a good height for a boob hug.
See, that's all I do.
And I like to hold on for longer than is.
Don't screenshot that, guys. That's us out. Mwah. Lots of love. We'll chat next time. Yeah?
Bye.
Geek
Bomb
has been dropped.